And sorry, I'm just checking out Pelagos. He's amazing.
Yeah, Pelagos is my kind of guy.
Wow.
Like, he has no pupils. He's built. He's a beautiful man.
He's kind of like a little Greek fantasy right
so,
there.
ladies and gentlemen, the Shadowlands expansion has been unveiled at BlizzCon. We're going to the Shadowlands, not quite in the way that many of us thought, and it's not quite the thing that many of us thought either, Evitel.
Yes.
Because the great thing about the Shadowlands expansion, I think, and what we've just learned about it, is that, okay, everyone knew it was going to be Shadowlands, and that was a leak, but apart from the name of the expansion, everything else in that Shadowlands leak, completely wrong.
Yeah.
Like, totally wrong. And that's incredibly satisfying.
I mean, as far as I know, we're not going to Taliesin.
Okay,
Sorry,
so no,
guys.
that was Wrath of the Bolvar.
Yeah, I know. I'm mixing them all together now.
Although, Kel'Thas was predicted in
Yay!
Wrath of the Bolvar, and as soon as they mentioned Kel'Thas, we're like, and Tel'Abbim?
Oh.
What about Tel'Abbim? So all of the expansion, the Shadowlands leak, which was confirmed by actual real-life Blizzard employees to be real, turned out not to be real. That map that has been doing the rounds, completely false. Everything about it completely wrong, apart from the actual name of the Shadowlands. Basically what happened was someone got a word right. When it comes down to it, that leak had one word right in it. That's literally it. Congratulations on getting one word right, guys.
Congrats on your bun.
And the plus side is we have a Shadowlands expansion which is essentially unspoiled for us.
Yeah.
Apart from like some images from the cinematic and the name of Bastion. This zone
Bastion came up
that we are in right now. And we've learned a lot in the What's Next panel about what's going on, because obviously the expansion was absolutely, the cinematic was absolutely amazing, with Bolvar having a straight-up fight with Sylvanas.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so I'm kind of in two minds. I thought it was cool, but I was also like, where is Sylvanas' power coming from?
Obviously. And you were complaining about this to me as I was having a wee in our hotel room. You were going, look,
this is correct.
I don't get it. Where's her power?
I'm at the
from?
point where I'm like, okay, I think it's cool that she can, just totally destroy Bolvar, cut down Saurfang. Great, super powerful. Open up, the rift between these worlds and like the Vale and the Shadowlands. But like, where is that coming from? I want to know more. And maybe that's just me.
But then Ian did say the exact same words in the What's Next panel. He said, you might be wondering where Sylvanas' power is coming from. And it's this guy. And who's the guy? Who's the silhouette? It's Mu'etzala, isn't it?
Yeah.
We all know it's Mu'etzala. Welcome again, and do take your time. This is forever, after all. I like the way these guys roll.
Yeah, this is cool. I'm really into
this. I guess I should mount up.
Yeah, let's see your mounts.
This is my mount. This is the mount that we've got.
Oh, I love it.
At the moment.
Oh my god, it's kind of like a lion and a corgi
with
wings.
Where does this come from? I guess we got this in the opening scenario. So
yes.
It turns out that nothing we thought about the Shadowlands was real. Sylvanas is nails and just straight up beat down on Bolvar. And that moment in the cinematic where the crown was ripped off of Bolvar's head. And I was like, yes, Queen, here we go. Lich Queen expansion. I knew it. It's what I've always wanted. I didn't even dare hope. And she was lifted. And she took too long for it to get there.
Exactly. And it was the thing she said at the beginning, which kind of gave it away that it wasn't going to happen, where she's like, no king rules forever. But in my head, I was like, but a queen might.
Oh my god, that'd been so good.
I know, but then I was like, no, that's too straightforward.
Yeah.
But yeah, poor Tally. I'm so sorry. The anticipation he felt
and
as the
when she first started lifting up to her head, I was like, she's gonna do it. She's gonna do it. And then she didn't do it. And basically the whole expansion was ruined for me, so it's got a lot to win me back. But it's managing it so far in this zone. And then the features trailer that came after that, which was pretty empty, basically. It showed the new zones, and it gave an idea of the new Covenant system, which Ian has described as essentially the main central feature.
Which is really interesting.
Of this entire expansion. Because he says it's this feature's version of artifact weapons, or whatever it was BFA had Azerite armor, which is weird because to me it just looked like order halls.
Exactly.
And until we got to the next panel, it wasn't really explained.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've got a much better grip on it now. Oh my god, wait, these little owl people? Wait, how does the little owl person feel about me riding a big owl person?
That's more of like a cat. That is literally a little owl with arms and legs.
Do these guys...
Hold on.
Do they hire owl people? I don't think they hire them, do they? Are they slave owl people? I'm not sure how I feel about this.
I feel like this is like a charitable society, so I don't think they're slaves.
What, you think this death realm is a charitable society?
No, this is like the virtuous zone, right?
Right.
Oh my god, look at him. And he's just going back and forth. I'm sorry, this is the important stuff right now. I love them. Oh
they're making a machine. These owl people are making a machine. This owl person is just... Well, he looks like he's about to start the rebellion by launching some explosives into this fire here. So
that one has shoulders.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Well, next allied race incoming, guys. You saw it here first. This one's using an invisible table. Okay, we probably shouldn't like nitpick too much.
Sorry, no.
Well, here's the map if anyone wants to see it. We can't zoom out any more than that. This is all that exists of this game right now is the zone of Bastion, which doesn't look super huge. It's one of 4.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll have to wait and see with all of that.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah. So yeah, I was concerned about the fact there was no spec, no new class. Not because I think the game needs a new class at the moment, but because I think all of the best expansions have a new class. You know? And I feel like an expansion needs a new class, even if the game doesn't. I feel like any cool new expansion needs a new class. So I was a bit disappointed by that. We were a bit concerned. Hello, from this day until the end of your days, you will carry the power of Bastion within you.
Ooh.
Don't mind if I do. Or unless I choose one of the other covenants.
Exactly.
Which, let's face it, I probably will. Oh, is that all? Is that all? I thought we were going to go on a little trip.
Oh.
So I got Blind Faith now. Your cast time spells become instant, and your channel time is reduced by 50%.
That's
Last 8 seconds.
Okay.
Okay, so this is what I wanted. I wanted to be flown around and shown the zone.
Yes, thank you.
You know, this is the best thing.
This is very pretty.
Yeah. I've got a feeling this won't be the music that plays.
No.
So here's our first look at Bastion flying around, and this is like the very heavenly zone.
Yes.
In Shadowlands. Now there are 4 different zones and the central hub in the center of it all. There's this one, which is kind of like the Halls of Valor, very heavenly. There's the Vampire Zone, which is the one everyone's going to choose, surely.
Super cool.
Like, the question, which covenant did you choose,
I know.
will be, which covenant did you choose, and why was it the Vampire Dark Souls one? There's the one where the faction is called the Necro Lords, which tells you everything you need to know about that one.
Exactly. It's where the Scourge comes from and all of that.
Yeah, and what was the other one? The other one was like the Fairyland.
Oh, yeah.
Which looks
Night
good.
Fae.
So basically, after an expansion of running around some quite realistic environments, in Tiragard Sound, which is one of my favourite zones in the entire game.
Pretty good.
Because of how realistic it was, and that was something I really appreciated about that when BFA started, when we went into that. We are into, like, as you can see, we're into the realm of high concept.
Yeah.
Once again here. This is already a lot more like Legion in the way all of the zones are like completely different. And there will be a strict order that you play through these zones in as well. So the idea of choosing which zone to level in, because of level scaling still exists, but you will have to go through the story in a set order. You can't choose to go to the Vampire Zone before you go to this one.
I actually really appreciate that.
I think it's kind of cool.
Because I just kind of want the continuity. The cool thing is, once you do that, for your alts, you don't have to do that.
Yeah, there's a whole different way of leveling alts than when you've played through it in the first case.
Yeah.
And I think that's like a kind of a feature of what Shadowlands looks like. And this was something we didn't get from the opening ceremony, which I felt a little bit let down by. Not let down by. That's wrong. I felt a bit underwhelmed by. But having seen the What's Next panel, I feel pretty awesome now about how it's all going to work out. I think there's a real sense of Legion being a really good expansion, and BFA kind of being a Legion 2.0 and trying to expand on the systems that everyone loved so much from Legion, and it not quite working out. And this is very much, almost literally, a reset and a clean break from all of that, and changing a lot of those core systems which were incredibly prevalent in Legion and BFA. And there's something very refreshing about that.
Yeah.
You know, knowing that at the moment no one's mentioned mission tables. We'll see what happens when this guy, when I hand this quest in. We'll see about that. But I feel like they're changing a lot of the systems like on a core level. And one of the ways that's most obvious is in the leveling experience. Now, if the actual levels themselves and the 4 covenants are the main feature of the game, it needs to be quite intense, and there needs to be a lot going on.
Yeah.
You know, that really comes into its own when you reach max level, and the story will break off into 4 different paths, essentially.
Yes.
Where, you know, like, they'll all have their different stories, and Ian compared it to Suramar and the idea of rebuilding your chosen covenant's kind of like place in the world and what have you. And that seems really interesting to me. I like that. Now, you'll have noticed this skill that I got here, Blind Faith, this ability. As you complete the story for each covenant, we're here in Bastion at the moment, you'll gain 2 new abilities, and that's this Blind Faith. Your cast time spells become instant, your channel time is reduced by 50%, last 8 seconds. Upon expiring, your cast time speed is slowed by 20% for 4 seconds. So it's got a kind of a kiss-curse thing there. And there's also an ability you gain which is class-specific. Maybe this is the class-specific one, I'm not entirely sure. But there's a class-specific one and there's an overall one.
A general one.
And that's the thing that you get. Those are the abilities that you build on. And that you build on them in Endgame when you make your choice. Because when you get to Endgame and you get to max level, which, don't forget, is level 60, which is quite cool. How do you feel about that? Because we saw that it was a level squish.
Yeah.
And I think most of us assumed that if there was going to be a level squish, it would be level 60. Because it's easy, isn't it? We're all level 120 at the moment, so you just half it. Just half that. Easy, anyone could do. I could do that. I'm not even a game designer. Although I think I am now, since I came up with the thing that they use. So we're going from 50 to 60 in this expansion. And once you get to 60, you'll have to choose which covenant you want to align with for the rest of your days.
Permanently, yeah. And this is a question that we've had. It's like, is there any way? Because basically when you're going through the story, you'll get to test out each covenant in a way. You know, you go through each zone and you get a flavor for what their abilities are. Excuse me. And then you have to make a decision. But I wonder if there's any flexibility there. And then what if it's going to be really punishing if you choose a covenant that doesn't have a really great extra skill, and then you're never going to raid again.
Now this is obviously if we haven't got lots to go on from the technical way that this expansion is going to work, but I think this is the main headache for a lot of people at the moment. They're thinking, well, look, clearly there is going to be an optimum covenant choice for each, not just class,
of course,
but spec probably as well. I know that Ian said that they're kind of getting away from the ideas of specs being incredibly different within a class, but you know, there's still specs. There's still 3 specs in the priest class, for example.
Yeah.
And for Discipline Priest, one of these covenants is going to give the 2 abilities that are clearly optimal for Discipline Priest. It might be different for Holy Priest.
Yeah.
It might be different for Shadow Priest. So what happens when I choose the wrong covenant because this one gives me a really cool cloak? Because you get it's not just skills, you get loads of in-game story as well, but loads of amazing new customization options and things
cosmetics,
which we've seen.
And they're so cool.
They know how to get us, don't they?
I know.
They were like, okay, I'm losing you. How about these cloaks?
We were sitting.
You can have wings. You can have a halo.
We were sitting next to Hazel, and we were like, yes, okay, this is what we're about right now.
Yeah, totally. So if I've chosen I wouldn't choose Bastion. Look at these guys, the jokers. But if I did choose Bastion because of the wings, and I wanted some cool wings as a Holy Priest, what happens when I find out later on that the abilities that I have now gained and I'm stuck with for the rest of my days are complete trash, and I don't get in any raids no matter how cool my wings are? We have had it confirmed from Ian since the What's Next panel that you will be able to change, obviously. It will be something you can do, but it's not something that is going to be very easy to do. So it is gonna be a major chore. Now, I think that probably means a big respec cost through gold or currency or something like that. What I think we should push for, we should put the idea in their head. Now we know that they take all our ideas. What we should push for is a quest line that you have to do every time you want to change it. And so it's not a currency cost, it's a time cost.
Okay, wow.
So it's you want to change it, you have to go on this quest line that's going to take half an hour.
Okay.
And you've done it loads of times before because you change your spec all the time. And I feel like it won't be a currency cost that adds up then. It's a time cost. If you want to change, it's going to take you half an hour.
Okay. That feels like a real punishment to me.
You reckon you'd rather have a currency? What a chat thing.
Chat, what do you guys think?
That would be neat.
Time cost is smart.
Yeah, I like it. And it's not like a time-gated time cost, because it's not like you do a mission table mission and it takes half an hour. You just have to sit around waiting for it. You go on and do a mission.
Yeah.
You do a quest line instead.
Okay, people love time cost.
Stop looking at porn on your phone.
I'm looking at chat.
Oh, I just saw my own reflection. Sorry, that's why. Like this thing, everyone thinks that because we're doing the Q&A, we've got all this insider knowledge now.
No.
And we could have done.
We could have.
The people looking after us were like, "Oh, should we just tell you the next expansion, all the things you're going to need to know in advance, so you can like work on that?" And I was like, and I was about to say yes, and Evitel just went, "Nah, I want it to be a surprise." And they went, "Okay."
Like, I could wait 8 hours, and until the opening ceremony and some of the next panels. I wanted to feel the hype with everybody.
Now, here's the thing, Evitel. Like, everyone knows, everyone in this chat knows, I know, everyone in this convention knows that I am punching in this relationship.
Correct.
Okay, I mean, that's been true since we got together. And I would never do anything to jeopardize, like, being in a relationship that I definitely don't deserve. But I could have left you in that moment. So that's the main technical worry about the Covenant. Apart from that, the idea of that being the main central system, that you choose your Covenant, and that literally affects the rest of the story for the rest of the expansion. It affects how your character looks and the kind of transmog they have. Yeah. It affects the abilities they're allowed to use. That, to me, feels like really RPG.
It feels super RPG, and it feels really different. I felt concerned after the opening ceremony, and I was like, what am I getting? Zones? New raids? Yes, of course we're getting new raids. But having all of these customization options and these tweaks kind of like under the hood and some of them over the hood, it weirdly feels kind of like a new game.
Yeah, and I think I've seen a lot of comments going by in the chat saying like it doesn't feel like enough after BFA. But I feel like if you think about what's actually happening and the actual fundamental changes that are occurring, rather than there being like a shiny artifact weapon or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think once we know more about the Covenants and we'll be able to kind of visualize it a bit more, that'll help as well.
Yeah.
But I feel like once you actually get playing it, it will feel so different.
Yeah.
That that's going to make a really big difference.
That's my hope.
So speaking of playing, greetings, Mavamri. After all this time, the arrival of a new soul to the Crucible is a momentous occasion. As you can see, aspirants have gathered from all corners of the village. Oh, wow. I'm a village hero. Let's witness your acts of service.
Okay, let's see.
What are we doing? Okay, you will take part in the sacred ritual that allows us to peer into your memories. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I thought I cleared my browsing history. Oh, no. What's going to happen?
It's that tracking app I put on your phone.
Are they going to show the time I wiped the raid?
Yeah.
Okay, this is kind of cool. So this is basically just a memory of me kicking Horde ass.
Pretty much.
Is clearly a memory of me getting my Horde Slayer achievement, right?
Pretty much.
This is good. I hope it doesn't go back to Kata, because I kind of quit in Kata.
Oops.
The memory will just show me like staying at home, not really playing.
How much HP do you have, Tally?
Good question at the moment. 95,120. So it kind of... am I right in thinking that kind of links up with where we are in the game right now? No, we're on about 200,000 for a healer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About halved.
Okay, so like with the Covenants out of the way, I was really thrilled with some of the other things that they mentioned as well. Now, the big one for me is I know everyone's going to kind of glom on to the cosmetic changes, and in particular, and here's a question for the chat. If you've seen those new cosmetic changes where you can essentially now be a Wildhammer dwarf, you've got all the different skin colors for trolls, you've got all the new undead options.
Oh, they look really good.
You can be
bones or no bones.
Not bony or super bony.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah, and this is another thing. It's another thing I really like. I really like this. This is a case of Schrodinger's Blizzard as well. Schrodinger's Blizzard, where everything Blizzard does is for the Chinese market, and they change everything for the Chinese market.
Well, exactly, right.
But they also have an undead expansion where everything is about death.
Exactly.
Like Schrodinger's Blizzard.
Hilarious.
So I know everyone's going to glom onto that, and I particularly like the human form changes, the human race changes. I think those are really awesome. Like, well after time as well. I think it's about time that those were made, and they look beautiful. They look really good.
Brilliant. They look so good. Yeah. I'm super excited about
Blood
them.
Elves getting blue eyes for sure. You reckon? Yeah, I reckon you might be right, Ibrahim. I think you might be right.
It's possible.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I really want to see Night Elf customizations.
Yeah.
I was really holding out for those.
Here is the question: does this mean the death of allied races. If you are a regular viewer of the Weekly Reset, something that you will know is very dear to my heart, because we did pretty much an entire episode on this, which you better believe I will be linking in Twitch as soon as we're finished doing this stream.
This is correct.
The idea of that when you level in your new level squished world, you choose as a new character one single expansion to level through in its entirety. Now I'm not saying they used our idea, Evitel. I'm not saying that they did that.
But do you
I'm
think
just saying the time frame would have been quite right for them to do it. And the fact that we haven't seen any of it, so it's just an idea on paper at the moment. They've got nothing they can show us.
It's true.
It took me one afternoon to put up a graphic for that on the Weekly Reset. They could have just used my graphic. They could have asked me. I'd have sent it to them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have even charged them much.
Dear Ian.
Yeah. They could have just taken a screen grab, claim it as their own. So I don't care that the chances that they actually listened to the Weekly Reset and thought, hey, that's a great idea, let's do that. I know that's not what happened, okay? And I want to make that very clear. You can clip this. I know that's not what happened. But if you think that's going to mean that I don't say that's what happened,
of course,
then you don't know me very well. You know what this means?
What does it mean, Tally?
I'm a game developer.
Stop it. Don't go there.
I'm just saying, like all of the best WoW YouTubers.
Look at that fox. Sorry.
I am now a game developer. What do we feel about the fact that you are, obviously the idea about like leveling through one expansion at a time is amazing. Like, it goes without saying. Obviously I think that's a good idea because it was my idea. What about the fact that you have to follow a set leveling path through the expansion? So like, this would have to be the first zone you go to, and the story will then lead you to the next zone, and that you can't choose it like you have been able to do in the last couple of expansions. What does chat think about that?
Yeah, what do you think, chat?
Let me know.
People seem okay with it because it's only for the first time, right?
Yeah, I mean I think that's probably quite important.
Yeah.
I think that's probably quite. I was healing myself instead of actually killing the thing. This thing's cool though. I like this.
Ooh, gonna tame one of those.
This is a future mount, right? And there's a thing where when you level an alt through, they call it a new game plus. Okay, so you can. Oh, what? What?
Look at you.
You're just seeing everything as a potential pet here, aren't you?
Yeah, or mount.
Yeah. They call it Endgame Plus, where you won't have to play through the narrative again when you level an alt through here. You can if you want, but you can level doing world quests or just by grinding other things and what have you, like events and things like that. And as you do so, you'll also be making progress on your endgame stuff too.
Yes.
So it's like the idea is that leveling an alt through the content and starting endgame progress are not separated in the way they are now. Like, it's actually all kind of
pretty cool.
combined. Yeah, and that actually, like, that sounds really interesting to me. It's all about, obviously, how it works and how well they make it work and things like that. So that's always the question. But the idea, at least, seems pretty sound to me, I think. And so, but endgame, we're talking about the maw, okay? So you've got your 4 leveling zones. The maw is where, much like in Wars of Draenor with the starting zone there, and then you go back to it at the very end of the game. You start off in the maw, and the starting experience of Shadowlands is you escaping from the maw. The place that no one has ever escaped from ever in the history of literally the entire universe and of life and death itself, but you manage it. Because of course you do.
Of course you do, you're the hero.
Yeah, but some people don't, which suggests there's going to be some people dying early on in this expansion.
Ooh.
That's what they said. And then your end game, as well as, I'm going to call it the war campaign. Oh no, the Covenant campaign, I guess, related to your Covenant. And again, I think the Covenant campaign is going to really rely on how much of it there is. You know, if it's as sparse as the war campaign was at Endgame, we might have a problem.
It could be.
You know, if this is the replacement to your artifact weapon, then it's going to need to be a lot of story. It's going to need to be a lot more like Suramar. It's going to need to, and from the suggestion is that it will be a lot more like Suramar than the war campaign.
Yeah.
But I'm going to call it the Covenant campaign. But on top of the Covenant campaign, when you get to Endgame, is your return to the Maw. Now, this is really interesting. I really like to hear people's opinions on this, because your return to the Maw seems to be based on kind of horrific visions in a way. Now, I think there's a lot more. I think that's a really lazy way of describing them. And I feel like there's a lot more to it than that. But this idea that it's a world which kicks your ass.
Pretty much.
And there's no innkeeper. There's no shops. There's no friendly things in the Maw at all. It's all just stuff that is going to kill you. And obviously, the more powerful you get, the more things you can do in the Maw.
I have a question.
Right.
What happens when you die in the Shadowlands?
I guess nothing.
Because you're just there.
You go, hooray! Or, I mean, you should get taken back to the Maw, I guess.
Yeah.
Since all the soul of the story is at the moment that all the souls are getting redirected to the Maw.
There.
Yeah, seriously. That's a good question. Should we find out?
Yes. Oh, we're almost there.
No, it's good. We're dying old school.
Okay.
Ooh.
See, I had a feeling it would be
Don't
special.
fret. This is merely the next step in your journey.
Ah.
Look at me. This is awesome. Oh, wait. What do I look like?
You're a wraith.
Oh, my
You're like a spooky...
Ooh, that's so cool. Oh, I'm so easily pleased, aren't I?
I'm glad we did that.
Thanks for sciencing that with us, guys. Okay, so the Maw. In the center of the Maw is the Tower of, like, the Dead or something. What's it called?
The Damned?
Tower of the Damned. Now, someone was telling me this is a bit like a Final Fantasy XIV thing. This idea that it's like a roguelike, and it's a roguelike tower. It's procedurally generated dungeon is basically what it is. Which changes every time you go in it, and you can get upgrades that will increase your chances next time you go in there and things like that. It's Blizzard's attempt at a roguelike in WoW. What do we think of this?
What do you think, chat?
You think you keep going up forever until you die? I'm not sure, man, because we know that the tower has a top, and we know that after the top of the tower is the top of Icecrown Citadel. Because like in all the opening images,
yeah, they're
like
upside
it's
down.
like the upside down. So the tower is essentially Icecrown Citadel, but like in a different thing. People think it's good, intriguing. I mean, I just think back to every kind of WoW Q&A that I've ever seen, where they talk about how they would never do procedurally generated dungeons because it's against the whole ethos of like the design and what they like doing, and that makes me worry a little bit. But do people think it's a good idea?
It's hard to know at this stage.
Yeah. What do you think of all the races becoming Death Knights? I think it's awesome.
It's fun.
Yeah, I think it's great, and
super fun.
I think it's been confirmed now through articles and stuff that have come out. I think if you pre-order the expansion, you'll get early access to those Death Knights. It certainly seems to me like there are less features. It doesn't seem like such a feature-rich expansion.
Fewer features.
As something like Legion or BFA. Is that what people feel? And I know that Ian made a big deal about the idea that all of the features are like wrapped up in the Covenants. So I guess it's like, you know, until we know what progressing in a Covenant actually involves, we don't really know kind of what the features even are.
It's true. It's true.
And we have been promised like an extra look at that tomorrow, and we have been promised a much closer look at the Maw as well, and what that's going to involve. Because at the moment we've just been told it's full of stuff that's going to kick your ass. And there's not, I mean, that doesn't really tell you anything.
No.
At all, apart from the tower. And I like the idea of the tower, as long as that's not the only thing there.
Yeah.
You know? So that's interesting to me. And the other big news is regarding classes. Ian Hazakostas referred to Halinka as Halinka the D-Pruner, which I thought was quite good. And the promise, which won't be new news because it's something Ian was promising,
of course,
sort of long before BFA ever finished, was the idea that there would be a much stronger focus on class identity, if not spec identity.
Yeah.
So, I mean, does that sound to you like the specs that you're choosing are going to be kind of homogenized, and that there'll be, I mean, to be honest, it sounds a lot more like, dare I say it, we might be going back to a more classic kind of talent system.
Could be.
Where a lot more is shared between the classes, and you kind of choose your spec by how you choose your talents and things like that.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, there's a suggestion that there are things that had been taken away that will be brought back.
That's an easy thing to say, though.
I know.
That doesn't really mean anything, I don't think. I think that's quite a hollow...
wish we could do a straw poll.
And also a promise that there would be more... And this word wasn't used, but it was very much hinted at. The idea that there'd be more deterministic rewards, essentially. The idea that you can set the thing that you're aiming for, and work towards it much
Yes.
more than you're able to at the moment. And one of the examples for this given was in Professions, where being able to craft the item that you want with the exact stats that you want on it is going to be possible. Not just easier, but actually possible.
Oh my god, that's so nice to have that even as a possibility.
Yeah.
Right?
And the other example that was given was with the weekly chest from Mythic Plus, where instead of receiving one item from your Mythic Plus chest, and that being just from the loot table of Mythic Plus, the computer is going to take in mind the things you've been doing, and will give you a choice.
It's like 6 items,
Six items to choose. Now, can anyone else think of the problem that I think of with this? And I'm sure it won't be a problem. I'm sure it won't work like this. But when I heard this, I thought, what is going to be the problem with this? For me, the problem is that it might actually stop me doing different types of content.
Oh, because there's one optimal way to get all of those things,
For sure.
right?
So, for example, if the item I want is only on a Mythic Plus table, then I'm only going to do Mythic Plus. I'm not going to do anything else which might reward me something in my Mythic Plus chest, or in my weekly chest, I should say, because I don't want it to have one of those options. I only want the options to be from this one thing, because that's the thing that I want. So I'm going to maximize my potential of getting that thing.
And then Ian mentioned that there's going to be at least one item there that's always going to be kind of like a generic, guaranteed okay thing.
Okay.
Or that's what I understood.
I didn't quite catch that bit.
Yeah, that there'll be at least something there that isn't like targeted to any of those things, but is just generally good.
Okay.
That might be the best choice in some cases. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I get why you would be concerned about that.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Anima replacing Azurite?
Yeah, I mean, well, the idea is that we're not quite sure how Anima works at this stage. You know, he said specifically that there was no more Azurite grind,
and we all cheered.
So yeah, I mean, the fact that Anima begins with an A as well.
Yeah,
I could not have been the only person who's like, Anima power.
Like, Anima
power AP.
Yeah.
But apparently, even if like that is what it ends up being called, it's not going to be the same thing. Yeah. It's not the same thing at all. The new raid looks incredible.
It looks so cool.
It just looks like Castlevania.
So cool.
With a huge like bat boss on top of a tower.
I don't even know like what the bosses are or what's going on inside. It's just in a castle, and you like work your way up the castle. I'm into it.
Yeah, I'm down with it. It's a winged 8-boss raid.
Super cool.
It's going to look super vampire-y.
Yeah.
It's set in the best zone in the entire game as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I'm down with that. And the dungeons as well. 4 max level dungeons.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't look like there are any attunement dungeons, unlike in BFA. You know, you had to progress in the story campaign to unlock King's Rest and Siege. And that's not something that we're going back to, apparently.
No.
Which is a bit of a shame, because I thought that was a nice thing, and I liked it. Just as my hammer will know the material, your hands will know the forge. Uh-oh. I hope this isn't a mission forge.
Follow the owl man.
Let's make some armor. Don't mind if I do.
Armor. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Adding the core.
Oh, wait.
Do you have to do this?
I've got to do it quickly.
Do it quickly. Keep going. Keep going.
We got this, fam.
Keep going.
This is like California Games.
Oh, wait. Do you have to keep it in the green?
Oh, right. Yeah, okay. Click on the sides. Ah, yes, you're right. Thank you. Here we go. Open vent. Nice.
There we go. Cool it down a bit.
There we go.
No.
Keep it in the green.
Keep it in the green.
Stay in the green zone. Stay out of the red zone.
This is good just like that, please. Okay.
All right, mate.
Because you put in too much, it got too hot.
Ah, the owl guy liked it like that.
He loved it too much. Just like that, please.
Okay.
I think that's how babies are made.
Hold the armor steady.
Okay.
I will hold the armor steady.
Hold the armor steady.
This is the most delicate part. I really wish we hadn't started with the innuendo, because now we just can't go away with it. Oh, come on. No. I mean, she's right. She's giving some good advice here.
Really good tips.
The WoW devs doing their best to educate its player base on how to satisfy their partner, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah, right.
Educational.
And you get some robes out of it.
This armor has your mark on it, Mavanwi. Sorry, I did get quite excited by all the talk. In the future, you will find ways to grow. Well, keep talking to me like that, and maybe I will. Maybe I will. And so, the Bwonsandi dungeon.
Oh,
as well. And now, obviously, we know nothing about any of the dungeons.
No, we don't know a thing.
We barely saw any pictures of dungeons at all. In fact, what I thought was footage of a dungeon turned out to be footage of the Tower of the Damned instead. So, I mean, that's pretty much it for new features,
We've
really.
got 4 leveling dungeons, 4 kind of endgamey dungeons. Sorry, customization. You can change your eye color.
Irrespective of your face.
Finally.
Yeah. I have become an aspirant. Ooh. That was pretty easy. I mean.
Okay.
Unburdened. Dissolve into pure anima, increasing your movement speed. So this is the standard one.
Yes.
The one I've got at the moment is the... Is it discipline priest specific, or is it... let's have a look. No, okay, so this is a class specific one, blind faith. And the anima one that I just got, unburden, is the universal one.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Let's try it. I mean, okay.
Okay, that's cool.
It's got a cast time though, which is a bit weird for like a speed increase.
Yeah.
It's quite useful.
It was quick though.
Good in PvP. Going to do my thing.
Ooh.
I do. Okay. I mean, this is kind of like It looks like the Alunia planet, which is where you do the Freya fight.
Okay.
In the last Legion raid.
Of course.
In Antorus.
I get that a little bit.
There's a little. I mean, there's no room.
There's a sense of that.
Oh,
but
what's this? What's going on here?
That's just.
It's just like cool.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. Like I know this is just talking about graphics and stuff, which is like super cheap, but I really like, you know, being in space and different like realms of existence and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that it's not just an extension of the world of Azeroth, it's like a whole different place to explore. Because then it just gives you so much freedom with not just like the kind of characters that you can make, but the whole lore attached to it as well. The only other thing they mentioned was the pre-patch, which is going to be a Scourge Invasion 2.0.
Yes.
Which sounds really cool to me. And you know, it's clearly basically going to be Legion invasions from Legion.
Yeah.
But you know, undead.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome.
Which is
It'd be
fun.
Cool. Like, you know, places all around Azeroth. And yeah, it's cool. I really love the Legion.
And we like work our way towards Ice Crown, right? To plug the hole.
Okay. An event happening over here. Wait a minute. I want to check this out. Ooh, what's going on? It's becoming difficult to breathe. Oh, I think we're not allowed over there. Oh no, I've just got transported up to the event.
Ooh.
Okay. Let's do the event. Do I need other people to help me start this event? It looks... do you know what? I bet I need 2 other people to do this.
Do you think so?
Yeah, it looks like it. I bet I need 2 other people to stand here and to do it. Okay, Legendaries! Oh, holy heck!
Oh, yes!
Forgot to mention Legendaries.
Totally forgot.
You're absolutely right. Legendaries are making a return in this expansion. And they are Legendaries that you essentially craft. So they're not random drops. By completing things, you can... get the sort of materials you need to build the legendary that you want.
Yeah.
So Legendaries are coming back with their gameplay changes that existed in Legion, and it's just the acquisition that is changing. So you can aim for a specific legendary, and that will be the one you get.
And is that the only way to get legendaries?
Yes.
So they're not just going to randomly drop, you have to specifically...
He said that element of RNG was completely removed from it.
That is so satisfying to hear.
Yeah, there's a big emphasis on, you know, setting your goals and being able to work specifically towards those goals, which is a bit of a buzzword since Classic. They said it was kind of inspired by, you know, Classic and what have you.
Yeah, but I appreciate it.
PvP vendors, we have had no confirmation or denial of that. No tinker time. Unfortunately not.
No,
unfortunately not. We called about, I'd say we called about 60% of this stuff. Including
big things.
But Tinkers is one of those things that is not happening at all.
I know.
And any faction changes, no, hasn't been mentioned. War mode is still existing here, but I mean, I'm not even sure that's a thing that, you know, you'd have to think about. Your current hype level on a scale of 1 to 100. Okay, so after the announcement, my hype level was probably around a 40.
Yeah, I'd say about like 50.
Yeah.
Most of that was Overwatch.
Yeah, to be honest. But my like Shadowlands hype level was not as high as I was expecting from it. Like, it certainly didn't hit the heights of like the BFA reveal.
No. I mean, I don't know what will, right?
No, exactly.
That was really special.
After the What's Next panel, I'm much more around 80, 85, which is a very good level to be for a new expansion hype, I've got to say.
Yeah, after that, after playing a little bit of this, after the Owl people, I'd probably on the same level.
Sylvanas big bad for Shadowlands. Well, it looks... Okay, so who is... Right.
All right.
Call it in the chat quickly, guys. Who is the shadowy figure in the features trailer? Who is the shadowy figure we can just see the eyes, and they're
Yeah.
on like a chained throne. Arthas. Well, he said it wasn't Arthas.
Yeah, he said it was specifically not Arthas.
He said it is the jailer, but who is the jailer?
Pagel, Khadgar,
Khadgar. Okay, guys.
Argus.
Yeah. Nezul. I think it's Metzala.
It's the
Metzala.
baby.
Yeah.
Papa
It's
Joe.
the baby. Well, okay, so here's the thing. I'm a Wrath baby. I admit it. You're a Cataclysm baby.
I'm sorry.
And guys, this could well be the first Shadowlands baby.
Could be.
Just saying. Just saying. It's capitalism. Yeah, I think it's Mu'tala.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's going to end up being. But either way, it looks cool. And do you know what? I like that we've got a shadowy figure who is clearly the big bad sitting there on a throne from the very beginning. I think that's something BFA lacked. Having this big bad that is there.
Yeah.
And we are coming to the end of our time. So thank you so much for joining us on this stream today. And joining in 9.0. And seeing our first glimpses of the Shadowland. We are going to be uploading an edit of this video onto our YouTube channel, so you can watch it again as much as you like.
Hear our
Why
thoughts,
not?
if you so please.
We are hosting the official WoW Q&A panel at BlizzCon tomorrow, where we are going to be getting to the bottom of many of the questions we have been asking here today. And then we are filming the live weekly reset on Sunday, and that'll be coming out as a video soon after that. So T&E every single day of BlizzCon if you want. And this was only day one. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. But from me, Taliesin,
and me, Evitel.
until next time, cheerio.